What is up, Raiders? Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. In today's video, guys, we're gonna do a guide on one of the new bosses from the Grim Forest. This is, in my opinion, one of the toughest bosses, the most challenging one, and that's mainly because you need to reach a specific milestones to get the rewards. Is extremely important to basically draw the right champions from your deck. If not, you might actually get blocked for a little while in here, which is not the end of the world, but it is pretty hard. So I am talking about PHRYGIUS, the Trove Master. It's extremely important to have the right champions. There are a few different strategies that you can use versus this boss. We're going to talk about his skill set, talk about teams, talk about builds, and what are the most important things to enable you to do a lot of damage. Let me know in the comments down below, how are you finding the goddamn goblin? Do you think he's easy? Do you think he's okay? Do you think he is one of the most challenging bosses from the new content? Basically, you have the rewards milestones right here. You're gonna have to do 35 million damage to collect all of the rewards. He works in a very similar way with the clan boss. You cannot kill this boss. It will have a turn count. Once the boss takes 30 turns, the fight is over. That, of course, is if you manage to survive that long. Then, once you're done with that, you're going to be able to collect these rewards, which might not seem extremely important, but getting the Grim Gold is going to be extremely important to be able to purchase the gear chests from the vendor. This boss will appear on 6 different locations on the map. It will have different levels, 325 being the highest. It will have different affinities, so that as well will play a more important role in what champions you are going to draw for this specific fight. But let's quickly talk about the skill set. So with A1, he will have a chance to steal one of your buff, or to steal sometimes even more than one. Okay, is a random buff from each enemy. So 5 enemies, he can actually steal 5 buffs from your team. Now that can be very problematic if he steals immunity, if he steals block damage, if he steals counterattack, if he steals even an increased speed. Anything else is not that relevant. His damage is not that high, so it's not like he's gonna hit super hard. What makes it more complicated is when you're destroying the gold plates, which will reflect a lot of damage back, especially if you have a big boy, a strong damage dealer that is able to break multiple ones at the same time. With the second skill, he will place decreased speed, decreased attack, and he will steal 30% of the turn meter if your champions are under any buffs, okay? Then, the damage inflicted by the skill is increased by 10% for each gold-plated layer. The third skill is the naughty one. Places 5 layers of gold-plated on himself, each equal to 10% of his max HP. He does not have a very high HP at all, actually. But as I mentioned, you cannot kill the boss, right? And he will reflect tons and tons of damage. On top of it, he will fill the turn meter by 10% each time one of these gold-plated layers is destroyed. Now, he has a passive that can actually evade your skills, your damage, which is annoying. That chance can actually increase. His speed can increase all the way up to 200 speed on top of what he has. And the chance of evading can go up to 50%. He is immune, of course, to everything known to humankind in terms of crowd control debuffs. Enemy max HP just doesn't perform well versus this boss. Immune to decreased speed and decreased turn meter, and the HP burn, once again, won't perform that great. Brimstone deals good damage versus this boss. Raw damage dealers. I'm talking about champions like Toshiro. If you have a Toshiro, you're golden, okay? He's absolutely amazing. If you have champions like Ninja, absolutely amazing as well. Really powerful. If you have champions like Varl the Destroyer, they can just stack up, rank up a lot of damage with the passives and hit really hard. Single target damage dealers that have crazy damage. That's basically your best weapon versus this boss. Calamitous, not a bad champion at all, especially that he brings all of the debuffs. What other single target damage dealers? Little Miss Annie, pretty effective as well, especially if you have a 6-star Crushing Rend on her, which is something that I do not have available. That's basically what you are meant to use versus these bosses to do a lot of damage. Now, talking about strategies, there are really 3 good strategies that work. You will require 2 support champions in each one of these strategies. You can go with crazy supporters that bring in a lot of healing, and that will work just fine, because even though some of your champions will die, you revive them, then you have the second reviver, heal, revive, back and forward. You can bring in a strong reviver and a healer that puts a big shield on your team as option number 2, and that will work pretty well as well. The shield can soak some of the damage. Option number 3, you go with protected, unkillable, or block damage. Like this is not so important that the boss doesn't apply them to himself. Of course, the block damage will be a big problem because he cannot deal damage. The main thing is, if he removes those buffs from you, your champions will die, okay, when you reflect the damage. So that's going to be a big problem. Helicat is a very good option. He brings the block damage, really good. You want to build him on 9-piece protection. You can bring in, of course, Amic Trunkheart, absolutely huge, on a 9-piece protection too. He will put the shield, he will decrease the cooldowns of your skills, which will enable you to actually deal more damage. You have the unkillable from him, but it needs to be protected. Really good. Maneater as another option too. Definitely pretty solid with the unkillable, the immunity, and then you can put the decreased attack with the A1, which is not as important. Mainly is this, but once again, 9-piece protection. That will play a very important role. It's extremely important to draw the right champions. As you guys can probably notice, because we are on a higher difficulty, we cannot draw a lot of champions. So that is a problem. I do not have access to 20 champions. I only have access to 11, and that's mainly because I unlock the altar. If not, you are going to have access to 10 of them. I can tell you straight off the back that with this team, I'm not going to be able to push in enough damage to get to 35 million damage. I already used my redraws to try and get the Helicat in the team to show you that as an option, but even before that, the 3 redraws that I've done, they were all trash. I had none of the good damage dealers available. Now, Little Miss Annie is not bad. It's just that she's not on steroids for me. I have no Cat's Case on her, and I'm not willing to move it, and I have no 6-star Blessing on her. If you are in this situation where the teams that you are drawing are just not great, what you can do is ignore this. Explore the map, get your squad up, unlock more trade cards, gain more additional stats. That's what will enable you to deal additional damage versus all of the bosses. Then, make sure you have some decent curios available to somehow help you in this fight. This will decrease the accuracy. Really not that great. 10% decrease accuracy on a boss that probably has 500. I'm not going to have that much resistance on them. Decrease the attack, useless. Give me Grim Coins, useless. Place a stun on the boss, useless. Decreases the damage allied champions receive from poisons and HP burn, useless. Decrease each enemy speed by 3%, useless. Decrease each enemy's HP attack and defense by 1%, useless. But we're gonna go with Pin of the Green Lady because this is useless too, but at least we are using something else next to it. So, once you unlock more of the altars, you level up your trade cards, and you have new redraws every single day. Once you collect all of the altars, you're gonna have 4 free redraws. You can come back at this fight and be like, okay, these champions suck, I'm gonna redraw. I have none left at the moment. And eventually, you will get the right team combination to deal with this boss. So, basically, we're gonna go with 2 support champions. We're gonna bring in Elva as the reviver. We're gonna bring in Raiho Bone Spear as an additional healer, and of course, debuffs. We're gonna bring in Helicat. We're gonna bring in Little Miss Annie. And out of the other damage dealers that I have available, truth be told, none of them will really do crazy work. Except Alice the Sunbearer. Why? Because he has a 6-star crushing run. He can hit pretty hard. Now, Geralt is a great champion, but it's mainly great versus AoE enemies, like where she can hit multiple targets at the same time. I'm pretty convinced that with this team, we are not going to get the right amount of damage. Okay, 35 is a bit of a stretch for this team, but still, we're gonna try it. We do not have block buffs available. My Raiho Bone Spear is not in protection, which means that the boss will be able to steal immunity from me, which can be a bit problematic, right? So we're gonna put these buffs on. She is on a 5-piece protection, my Elva, but clearly not enough. Let's see, we're not gonna use the block damage just yet. We're gonna use it only on the next turn. And now with Alice, I'm not going to use his main damage skill. I'm gonna wait a little bit. With Little Miss Annie, I'm gonna go in like this to put in the increased attack on myself. You see, barely any damage versus the boss, as it is. Brimstone can be really effective though. So we have a lot of debuffs, which is great. Hopefully, Little Miss Annie and Alice will put in some work. Now I'm gonna put a block damage with Helicat. We can replace it. We have it protected on everybody, which is amazing. The perfect outcome. If I'm gonna deal damage with him right now, I'm probably not gonna get a second hit, because it's not enough firepower. We broke 2 of the gold plates. The block damage blocked all of the incoming damage. Little Miss Annie, we broke 1 more plate, but we only have 1.9 million damage, which just shows you that we're going to struggle versus this boss right now. We just won't have enough firepower. The reviver that I have in is weak affinity. The boss just stole the increased speed from my champions. We broke the gold plates, which is good. And now we are looking to land more debuffs with Raiho preferably. I'm not going to worry too much about buffing at the moment. We just want to put debuffs on the boss. So we have the A1, do a bit of damage, land the debuffs. It took 3 turns. We have 4 million damage. I have the increased attack already, but still I'm going to use this skill again. 127, 230. Not that great. The boss just stole 3 buffs from me, including that increased defense, increased attack, and the continuous heals are pretty irrelevant. I don't care about that. He will use this skill next. It's very similar with the clan boss, honestly. And now, with Alice, we've dealt only 1 million damage. The boss had increased defense, which kind of sucks. So, we're going to struggle to push to 35. Right now, he evaded the skill completely from Little Miss Annie. So, we've dealt 0 damage. That can happen too. And that can be a problem. Now, I'm going to wait to put a block damage again with Helicat. So the boss will actually have the gold plates on. But in the meantime, I can use this from Alice the Sunbearer and actually have a chance to counterattack. Now, hopefully the boss won't steal the counterattack from me. Little Miss Annie is barely scratching the boss with the build that I have on. And no relic, no 6-star crushing rand. Keep on dreaming, Skratch. One day it might happen. Block damage, unfortunately, is not protected on 3 of the champions. And that poses a very high risk for the boss to actually steal it from me. So I'm going to try to break as many gold plates as possible. He did not steal the block damage, but he did steal the counterattack, which honestly is not such a big deal. We still have the block damage on our champions, which is fine. He's not going to be able to steal any... I mean, with the counterattack, he can steal more buffs. I forgot about that part. Like he just did right now. He got our immunity. What I was going to say, he's not going to be able to deal a lot of damage versus us, even though he has the increased attack. But right now, he stole one of my block damage because he stole my counterattack. It is a bit more complicated with this boss, mainly because the deck is just so freaking important. If I would have had a block buff champion, that would have been much better, but that's something that I do not have available at the moment, unfortunately, not in this deck. I could have used the Ramanto actually instead of Raiho, but I wouldn't have had very good healing like that, right? And a buff stripper would have been amazing in the team. I cannot land debuffs with Raiho now because the boss, as you guys can probably notice, stole my immunity. We might be on track to do the 35 million damage, but he stole immunity again from us, which is kind of like annoying. It took 10 turns. I think we might be able to do it with this team, even though I wasn't really counting on it. So we're going to go A1 again. I'm going to let him put his buff on. There is no point to use the A2 with Alice. We have no debuffs. I'm just going to go with A1. That's not going to break a gold plate, which won't actually reflect any damage. Raiho Bone Spear can land the debuffs right now, but I have a lot of immunity that is not protected on. I'm going to put the block damage. Hopefully, it will be protected. And yes, it is protected on everybody, which is great. We're going to go with Little Miss Annie. How much damage? 700k or so. The boss stole the immunity and the increased speed from me, which doesn't really matter. Hopefully Alice will do enough damage right now to break all of the gold plates, and we managed to do it. Turn 13 for the boss, we have 14 million damage. Let's put a bit of a shield in there. Yeah, the counterattack from our Helicat. It did not land the weaken, unfortunately, so we're going to have to wait for that Raiho to do her magic again and have the skill that lands the debuffs available. We might be a bit short on the damage. That's why champions like Ninja, Toshiro, Val the Destroyer are so important, because they have crazy good single target damage. Calamitous is amazing too, but mine is not booked, so because of it, he doesn't do that much damage. And of course, if I would have had Cat's Gaze on Little Miss Annie, Cat's Gaze on Alice too, the damage would be much higher. But I only have 2 of them available, and moving them around all the time can be really problematic. So I'm going to do this right now because the boss is going to use the A2. So I can self-buff right now without necessarily risking him to steal my buffs. He evaded my entire skill from Raiho, which sucks because we did not manage to land all of the debuffs. Thankfully, we have the defense down and weaken. So he used the A3 skill. We had the immunity. He was not able to land debuffs on us, but he stole Thermiter from us. So he's going to move on to the gold-plated skill right now. No block damage from Helicat. It's fine if we're losing somebody. We only have a weaken on the boss, so we won't be able to generate crazy damage. I might just wait as well with the A2 from Alice to make sure that we are landing the debuffs on. He will be prone to steal our buffs now. So block damage not protected on everybody, unfortunately. Helicat does not have it protected, but thankfully the boss did not manage to steal it. He landed the weaken. Okay, where are we? Still no defense down, so we're gonna roll with it like this, just to make sure we're doing as much damage as possible. And we are short on damage now. The boss took 19 turns. We only dealt 17 million damage. Little Miss Annie, come on, baby. Can you hit for like a few million, please? Just do a bit of magic. Do a bit of magic. Brimstone is great, though, because that pushes in a lot of damage. He stole a lot of buffs from us right now. And again, even though I tried to have that defense down with Alice, it's just not happening. Plus, he stole an increased defense from us, too. So, I'm going to let it play on auto. Then, I'm going to go and challenge a different one, where I can actually hope that I'll have better champions available in the deck. And because it's going to be a lower level, I should have basically more options. This is the increase in difficulty. The higher the difficulty, the less champions you can actually bring. He evaded the skill again. Little Miss Annie going in with her magic. Raiho, land the debuffs, thank you. Alice maybe smashing with the A2. No, an A1. Reflect the damage. We got a block damage up. That is fully protected, which is amazing. He stole increased speed and continuous heals. The continuous heals are not that relevant. Counter-attacking, which is great. Alice pushed in some serious damage. We are slowly catching up on the boss, but it's very hard to get to the 35 million. So if I'm never going to be able to get the right deck, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wait till I reach squad level 30. What I'm going to basically unlock additional trade cards, more bonuses on my team, some additional HP, defense, attack, ignore defense effects maybe, higher speed, and then I'll come back. Most likely, I will have a completely different team by then, but it won't be such a big problem once you are towards the end, because you've already unlocked the boss, right? You know where it is, you have everything ready, you just need to basically redraw sometimes to pull in the right champion. So we are short a bit on the damage with this team. I said it from the beginning that I don't think we're going to be able to push to 35 million damage. But at least we managed to go to the next one. So we can go back to the map right here. And here we are. We still have to get to 35. But I cannot do it with this team, so I'm going to have to wait and redraw. But in the meantime, I can definitely find another one on the map. We have a Void Affinity level 275, and we can draw 16 champions in here. Let's see if this is better. It's already like a gazillion times better, because we have Toshiro available. This is Void Affinity. We have Little Miss Annie. And even though it might not seem like that much, I don't really need any other damage dealers. And here I can actually show you a much, much better way. So if you have a Marichka, it's great. If you don't, not that great. Raglin, absolutely amazing in here as well. We're going to bring in Toshiro. We can bring in Raiho Bone Spear, or even better, I can bring in Lydia. I'm just trying to make sure that I will have basically the Brimstone on, or I'm just going to completely ignore that, that part. Now, I can either go with another damage dealer, or I could go in with another support that will push the Termiter, and it will enable my Toshiro to go absolutely bananas. Or if you have a Ninja available, or something else, right? I won't have increased attack for my Toshiro with this combination right here, which is still fine, because he will be able to push to 20 million damage. So let me just show you this. No Brimstone either. The only reason why I'm going to manual is because Toshiro will actually metamorph, right? So I want to make sure that's not the case. I'm not going to put a shield with Marichka yet. I'm going to wait a bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the defense down and weaken. Toshiro will put the leech. Bang. We can go A1. Actually, we do have increased attack. I forgot that we have increased attack. See the buff from Raglin. Now we can put in the shield, so when the boss reflects a lot of damage, we're not going to be wrecked. We're going to put block buffs, so now if he steals buffs from us, is irrelevant. Look at that damage. We broke 1, 2, 3, almost 4 gold plates. We're going to reset the skills. We're going to generate the heal, put the increased attack, put that shield back up again. Yeah, we can put this on. Why not? We got a decreased attack on, which is okay. We're going to cleanse it. Oh, damn, and the boss cleansed everything, so we're going to apply this. Defense down, leech. And you see the damage? It's already going to be much, much better. Even though I only have one damage dealer in the team right now, I have the right damage dealer. So it already looks much, much better. A ninja can do crazy work like this as well. So it's not all about Toshiro, by the way. Look at that damage. You see? We're just going bananas. And I do have crazy good support in the team right now. I have Revivers, Marichka's passive in case if they all die or something. The block buffs, which makes the boss irrelevant in terms of stealing buffs from us, is really not gonna mean anything. He will land the debuffs on us again right now. I'm gonna put the defense down and the weaken. He will steal Termiter because he will do it. We are pushing our Termiter as well with the rest of the team. We can cleanse it. Again, he got rid of his freaking debuffs. I'm supposed to wait with that. I'm kind of like forgetting that he's taking 2 turns back to back, which is instantly making him lose the debuffs, right? So that was crazy, crazy, crazy damage. We broke 2.5 plates. I'm not... Actually, I will reset, yeah, because Lydia can apply the defense down and weaken. We only landed the witch with Toshiro. The leech, not the witch. And he had no defense down and weaken. And now we can go with the A2 skill. And that was crazy damage. Look at that. So, if you have the right damage dealer and you are pulling in the right supports, this becomes much easier. Now, he evaded our skill right there. I'm just going to make sure Toshiro doesn't metamorph. I don't know why he's only one of the few mythicals that choose to metamorph in these fights, no matter what, you know? It's a bit weird, because others don't do it. And look how quick we're getting to that 20 million damage. It's crazy. What a big difference. Before, I had very good champions in the team too. The only thing is, some of the champions just do not work great versus this boss. And that is basically how things are going in here. We evaded the skill. That's fine. We're going to put in another big shield. He's going to put the gold plates. I'm not going to use this skill again, because he's going to use the A2 first. Then he's going to move on to the A3. So just to remember that. He's always doing it. So I'm just going to use the A1. I can reset this one just in case. Make sure I'm getting some of the right skills in. I'm going to use this again right now. Good damage. And we already reached the damage that we need to get the maximum rewards on this one. You only need, in reality, 20 million. And we've done it in 10 boss turn count. Before, it took us 30 turns and we haven't scratched the boss. But look at the damage. Right now, Toshiro broke 4 of the gold plates at the same time. He almost killed my champions. Thankfully, the shield did an amazing work to help our champions to tank a bit. So I'm going to put block buffs on the boss right now rather than the weaken to make sure he's not going to steal my buffs. But unfortunately, that did not work. And we can let it play on auto now because we managed to get the 20 million damage. Toshiro metamorph instantly as soon as I've put on auto. Just in case if some of you guys did not believe me. Having merciless builds is going to be much better because you can ignore more defense on these targets. I'm really unsure of how high their defense is. We still don't know exactly what stats they have. But it will allow you to push in much higher damage. And this is a team with literally 4 support champions and only 1 damage dealer. But that's just showing you how much of a difference it makes to have the right damage dealer on your deck. And as I said, you don't have to worry about it if you're just not able to get basically the right deck on your first day when you unlock this boss. You can just continue to explore, come back at a later date. Usually these bosses are not located in the middle of the maps to kind of like block you so you cannot progress. It's fine. One thing though, if you're constantly retrying and you're not reaching the maximum rewards, from what I've noticed, he's going to consume 1 energy every time you do it. Okay? I had 4 energy when I started this fight, if I'm not mistaken. And I ended up with having only 2 left after. So, from what I've seen, I think the boss consumes 2 energy per each fight. But once you're completing all of the milestones, I think that's when he actually stops from consuming energy. I might be wrong. Maybe I've clicked on something else and I forgot about it, and I only had 3 energy. That's an option. Look at that damage. Toshiro absolutely reflected insane damage, and if Marichka doesn't die right now, we're gonna be in trouble. But the only good thing is that I've already dealt enough damage, okay? I've already dealt enough damage that I don't need the rest of the team to come back to life. And the thing is in here, doing additional damage over the milestones, it won't yield any rewards. So it's literally no point in trying to do that, okay? And there we go. We managed to get everything. It took 1 of my energy. And now, look at the damage. 31 million. It just shows you how important it is to get the right one. So now it's fully ticked. And we don't have to worry about him. You see, this one is not fully ticked. So I'm pretty convinced that every time I'm challenging this one, as long as I'm not collecting the maximum rewards, I will basically use 1 distorted energy. We have another one at level 275 right here. Once again, an easy breeze with these champions. I don't have Marichka. It's fine. I still have Donnie available. I have Pythian available. I have Sulfurian available. I have Elva. I have Duchess available. And I have Toshiro available in here. Easy job done versus this boss. Plus, I have Raiho Bone Spear again. So this is going to be easy. I'm going to look to see if I have any other ones discovered anywhere on the map. Another 275. What do we have right here? We have Calamitous. We have Newt, which won't really be that great in here. We have plenty of support champions, plenty of revivers with Cardial, with Calamitous, maybe with Alice the Sunbearer. I will be able to get 20 million damage because this is a lower difficulty, right? I don't need 35, which is the harder difficulty where it's very, very important to draw the right champions. That's pretty much it. That's how you deal with this boss. If you don't have the right deck, don't stress for it. Just wait and redraw it because that is the most important thing versus this boss. Hopefully you found the video helpful. Let me know if you think that this is one of the most challenging bosses or not. Appreciate all of you watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.